Thanks, Brandis. Early in the program, we talked about Georgia's runoff election and tomorrow's vote on the Electoral College. And joining us once again are members of the Illinois Congressional Delegation, Mike Quigley, Raja Krishnamoorthi, and Marie Newman. And a reminder, we invited every Republican member of the delegation today. None accepted our invitation. Once again, we're happy to have all of you. Marie Newman, you're sworn in this week for your first term in Congress. There was some contention about COVID protocols, people wearing masks, not wearing masks. How did that go?
You know, there was a wide variety of adherence to the rules, shall we say. I think that most were trying desperately in a very busy, chaotic day to do their very best. There were some folks that weren't adhering to the rules, but we got sworn in. And that's what's important as we move forward. We have a lot of work to do very quickly. We have got to get relief out to small businesses and to individuals, as well as the cities, towns, and states. So we are all laser focused on that right now.
And all three of you here voted to re-elect Representative Nancy Pelosi as the House Speaker. Congressman Krishnamoorthi, what do you think that will portend for the next 2 years?
I think that Speaker Pelosi is going to help Joe Biden and Kamala Harris usher through very important legislation to combat the pandemic, both from a healthcare standpoint, but also from an economic standpoint. From a healthcare standpoint, we literally have to give everyone a shot in the arm, Paris. And that is job number one. We got to get the vaccines out the door and administered. And then the second is, we have to repair the economic damage. Still, there's more than 10 million people unemployed. I personally think that we can't deny states and local governments the vital aid that they need, for instance, to keep their healthcare workers on staff at the same time that we're asking them to administer all these vaccines. This is not the time to be laying them off. So this is vital aid that we need to deliver, and we need to help struggling businesses and individuals as well.
I know Chicago and Illinois are crossing their fingers for more aid for state and local governments. Congressman Quigley, I think it's universally acknowledged now that the vaccine rollout has been much slower than needed and anticipated. What needs to be done to speed that up?
Yeah, very disturbing today. I mean, among the things we heard just today is that the number of COVID cases may be 4 times higher than reported, that they are limiting care in areas like Los Angeles and that Florida. A fraction of the doses that were delivered have been injected into arms. But look, this is going to take a reorganization and a coordination between the federal government and state and local governments and the assistance that's necessary. The COVID care bill that we passed just recently had $69 billion to fight the COVID. Unfortunately, it's going to take more. This is going to be a process that probably takes us through the majority of this coming year.
And Congresswoman Quigley, you talked about the need for more stimulus. Would a new stimulus package in the new Congress under a new administration include $2,000 direct payments?
Look, I think it needs to include that. It needs to include, as was stated, help for state and local. There are segments and sectors of the economy that are going to need additional assistance, direct assistance like restaurants, our fitness centers and gyms, any number of those. The fact is, this is the COVID response has to come first because the economy will not recover until that happens. So part of that stimulating the economy, but critical first is we simply have to get this vaccine out there, and we have to be protective of each other simply by wearing our mask and distancing.
And as we mentioned earlier in the show, a lot is contingent on these runoff elections in Georgia. Let's hear what President-elect Biden said about this special election.
By electing John and the Reverend, you can make an immediate difference in your own lives, the lives of the people all across this country, because their election will put an end to the block in Washington on that $2,000 stimulus check, that money that will go out the door immediately.
Congresswoman Newman, is it a sure thing that, and he's referring to John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, the 2 Democratic candidates for Senate there against Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, is it a cinch that Chicago and Illinois could expect more governmental relief for their various cash-strapped budgets?
Well, we're going to work hard towards that. I think that what Mitch McConnell, who has been the leader of stopping the relief checks and keeping it down to a $600 amount, what Mitch McConnell forgets is this is the American people's money, and we should be investing in our people. So it is not his money. And so if, in fact, we are able to win this race, both of these races in Georgia, what it means is we stop that reign of terror and everybody comes around and realizes that, in fact, this is the American people's money. We are going to invest back in them. And what he also forgets, in addition to that it is not his money, is that all of that money, that relief money that we provide, gets injected back into the economy and creates revenue so that we can support this nation and our economy comes back. So this fatalist activity by Mitch McConnell does not work. And I think that if we stop that reign of terror and elect these two wonderful people in Georgia, we'll be in a lot better shape.
Okay, I want to thank all three members of Congress, Mike Quigley, Raja Krishnamoorthi, and Marie Newman. Thank you so much for